Hello, I'm Jonathan Drennan, Head of London College of Music Examinations. You may be aware that LCME has been forced to terminate its relationship with its previous platform provider. At LCME, we aim to put the interests of candidates, parents, teachers, and representatives at the heart of everything we do. However, as a regulated organisation, we do occasionally need to take action to ensure that the services we provide remain fully compliant and fit for purpose. This action does not reflect a singular decision made by me, but a collective one made by LCME and its parent, the University of West London. I must stress that we are not at liberty to discuss the reasons for this termination. What I can say definitively is that the suddenness of the termination has very regrettably been out of our control. We're extremely sorry for any temporary inconvenience this action may cause to stakeholders worldwide. Very positively, we have launched from yesterday, 1st of December 2022, a new digital platform which will accept bookings for recorded exams. This platform was intended to be released in 2023. However, to minimise disruption to you, we have ramped up our efforts so significantly, in fact, that the arrival of our new digital platform yesterday means that our digital services have been unavailable for only 1 week. I'm going to take this opportunity to thank my colleagues for their really incredible work. And this new platform will introduce very, very positive features, which will include a greater streamlining of assessment times and a much easier booking process. We know that some candidates have already begun the process of uploading their performances on the previous platform, and that payments will inevitably have been taken. So please, may I reassure you that your interests are fully protected. We've provided a link on our webpage and on our social media channels for all such customers, which will collect information that we may then use to find a solution that best fits you. So the solutions will include the following. You may request a refund. You may wish to complete your recorded exam entry by moving your uploads to our new platform. You may even wish to reschedule your live exam, or if logistically possible, replace it with an in-person face-to-face exam. The point is that whatever solution you prefer, LCME will, as it always does, work with you to resolve the issue. And at any stage in the process, if you seek further advice, please email us on lcm.exams@uwl.ac.uk. So, I'm joined today by a very good friend of LCME, presenter Susan Hickey. Welcome, Susan. Very nice to have you again.
Thank you, Jonathan. And as our live stream yesterday, we are here today to answer all of your questions. So basically, just if you write your questions on social media, on Facebook and on YouTube, I'm going to be relaying those questions to Jonathan, who has kindly given up some extra time out of his extremely busy schedule today to answer those questions directly. Jonathan, before we get started with some of those questions, I think a couple of the points that would be really good just to go over again were so about anybody, because we're seeing there's a couple of questions that are following the same theme, which is for people who have previously uploaded a recording on the previous platform, what they should do now. So you're saying there is a booking form on the LCME website that the team will put in the comments section here, so you can easily access if you can't find it. Please fill in that booking form, and then somebody from LCME, you'll get a reply into your email as confirmation that they've received that, and somebody at LCME will be in contact as soon as possible. Okay, for all new bookings, you go to the LCME website and you click on digital exams, and you go through the new forms there. Is that correct? Yeah.
Correct, Susan, exactly. And the reason we're using this booking form is because this is quite an unprecedented event this week, certainly. And we want to collect this data, we want to collect your information as soon as possible so that we can resolve the issue as soon as possible. I mean, as I said in my opening statement, this is completely out of our hands, and we are doing our very best to facilitate everyone.
Okay. So some other kind of comments, Jonathan, that are coming in here. Adrian has asked on YouTube, and I think this is an important thing to address, is are we being used as guinea pigs with this new platform?
Used as guinea pigs. Okay, that's a very good question, Adrian. And I can assure you wholeheartedly that you most certainly are not a guinea pig. Exam boards don't use candidates as guinea pigs. We're a regulated board. Everything has to be done absolutely by the book. So let me just give a bit of breadth to that really very good question. So LCME has gone through an incredible event, which of course has been COVID-19. And what everyone, of course, and this I think pertains to all business, a lot of technology was rolled out at incredible speed so that people's education continued. Now, if you roll out things at great speed, there are going to be things that are not just quite perfect. So we are an exam board now that operates 24/7. In the old days, we had 3 sessions per year, which meant you had quite a lot of time during the year to not fix things, but amend things, change syllabuses and so forth. Because we're running 24/7, there is never a good time to stop this juggernaut. So, in terms of the new platform, this has been designed for some time. I can assure you that no one is being used as a guinea pig with this platform. You may know that I'm the new head of LCM. I'm also the chief examiner of music. Because I'm a new individual, I come with new ideas. And a lot of those things that were maybe rolled out at speed during COVID-19, I want these things, I'm not going to say fixed, but let's say refined, so that the customer gets the best experience. Adrian might think he's a guinea pig because of the speed. Now, of course, we've rolled this thing out at incredible speed. Let's remember, LCME's exams, their digital exams, have only been postponed for 1 week. So that just shows our real commitment to the customer. And so this platform, we don't build a platform in a week. So this reflects a great deal of working in the background over some time. The reason that we've been able to bring it closer to our candidates to fill this unavoidable gap, the reason we've been able to do this is because this piece of equipment is so good. It has been so tested. And the proof of the pudding's in the eating. As I said earlier in my statement, this platform was live yesterday. I'm a very relaxed gentleman today, and that is because it's working so well. So Adrian, have no doubts. Get onto that platform, book your exams, please.
Fantastic. Adrian, I hope that answered your question very clearly for you. Thank you for that question, Adrian. Ruth Tickle has said, will the performance exams still be reward UCAS points at the upper levels?
Now, if Ruth, the performance exam, so that's a bit of a generic term with performance exams. If Ruth's referring to recorded exams or live digital exams, that really relates to the syllabus. If it says in the syllabus that this exam receives UCAS points, that's what it says in the tin. You'll get your UCAS points, of course. This is all to do with the syllabus. It's not to do with actually the medium that we're using. Just because we're using a digital exam doesn't remove the UCAS points. It's all to do with the syllabus.
Fantastic. And all those syllabi are on the LCME website.
Absolutely.
So if anybody wants to reference those. So Campbell has asked, so there won't be any changes on the recorded exams, requirements, procedures, criteria?
No, exactly. So Campbell, if you can think of this as being almost a superficial change. Okay, the new platform's very, very slick, but in terms of the curriculum, in terms of the syllabi, this is a superficial change. So everything in relation to your syllabus, the uploading structure. So in terms of the digital exams, if it's a recorded exam, we're doing it component by component. If you've got 3 pieces, it's 3 uploads, and then you've got your technical work and so on and so forth, if that's part of the syllabus. That's the same. None of that has changed. It'll just look different because it's a new platform.
Fantastic. So I'm related to that. Surya has asked, can students take the online exams at any time next year, or are there specific dates?
So the whole thing about the online live exam is that it's always been a scheduling thing, because obviously we have to get an examiner into the room to see you doing your live exam. So it's never just, it's not like the recorded exam, which is very much a 24/7. And actually, can I just make this point that this is a 24/7 digital platform for the recorded exams. You can do it anytime, any place, anywhere. We have complete automation here. So please be assured of that. In terms of the live exam, well, that's something slightly different, because, as I say, that involves getting someone to actually watch the performance live, just as an in-person, face-to-face exam operates. What I would say is that, related to that point about the live digital exam, let's turn the clock back. Why did we have that exam in the first place? Well, we all know why that was, because COVID-19 restricted our movements. So the closest way that we could find to meeting the face-to-face model was to have the live digital exam. We're in a different place now. People are getting back on planes. Why can we not then offer more face-to-face exams? So as we move through 2023, and of course we're already in this place now, we've got face-to-face exams running strong. 2023 is going to be the watershed where we really ramp up those face-to-face exams. Remember, Susan, we're an international exam board running in 95 plus countries. I want to invest in you, the different country. That's how we experience the culture. That's how we experience firsthand the needs of your area. So I will be really wanting to get my examiners into your locale.
Fantastic. So, related to that, Felicia from New Jersey has asked about a 5-day requirement. She's wondering, is there still a minimum 5-day requirement? I'm not sure if this is something she's heard or if this is something that's been true. But she said, is there they have to have 5 days of exams in order for somebody to come out there face to face?
Okay. Before I put an actual limit on that, Felicia, what I can say to you first and foremost is that I am desperate to get to your area to actually get assessing your candidates, because that we need to get things running as they were as soon as possible. The digital exams are staying, of course, they're wonderful, but we need to get that other package, because we offer a wide suite of exams. Okay, so we need those face-to-face exams going. Now, in terms of that demarcation, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, if you can offer 3 days, and candidates say to me, well, Jonathan, what does that mean? Does that mean 15 candidates or 20 candidates? It depends on the grades, because of course, if you've got a whole day of grade ones, it's going to be more than a whole day of grade eights. So again, if you work out the rough times, what does a grade 8 take? Where in terms of time, what does a grade 1 take? So, but again, get back to me. If you've got 3 days that you can offer us, we'll see if we can get an examiner to you ASAP.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jonathan. I see lots of questions are coming in, I think, from reps and around currencies and fixed scale and everything like that. So just before we came live on air, Jonathan mentioned that he is going to set up a separate Zoom session with all of you reps, and he will discuss all of those details with you, listen to what your comments and suggestions are. So do that next week. So if we don't answer all of those questions on this live stream, because we're just trying to answer people's main concerns today, rest assured that Jonathan and the team will be in touch with you and discuss that. Also, related to that, some people have been asking questions about saying they have been a rep on the previous platform, so how do they become an LCME rep? Jonathan, perhaps you could just address that as to how they get in touch for that.
Yeah, of course, Susan. Can I just home in actually on the first question as well about the currencies? Because I think it's very relevant, especially because we're discussing digital exams today, to mention that LCME has, after tremendous research, gone through all of its fees. And you'll notice that they now are in GDP, that's for simplicity. But also, you'll notice that we've kept our digital exam costs low. And there's a reason for that, because we are aware that we want our digital exams to reach out. Face-to-face exams, it's been unavoidable. We've had to modify our costs there because, of course, as we all know, we're in a different world. When there's hyperinflation in some countries, the cost of energy, flying examiners to you, is much more expensive. So we've had to amend some costs. And I hope that our stakeholders understand that. But we've been on a mission to really ensure that the digital exams stay very cost effective. Now, on the second question, remind me the second question, Susan, would you please?
So the second question, well, I've actually forgotten myself what we were. I was actually looking because Surya has come back to you here.
All right.
On that, and she wanted just on the digital exams was if you could clarify if you're still going to be doing live digital exams as well as recorded videos.
Yeah, so we're still doing live digital exams. I'm going to sound like a politician here. I'm not going to tie myself into giving timescales on things, because what I will say, and this is extremely relevant, I know this has been a very unexpected change this week for all of us. Let me reassure on that. I'm a chief examiner, head of LCM. I do not deliberately make sudden changes. This has been unavoidable. In terms of the live model, for the immediate future, certainly, those exams are staying. If we were going to change anything, we'll be giving really very good notice before we change anything. So Surya can be completely assured that those are continuing.
Perfect. Surya, thank you. Jonathan, I hope that answers your question very clearly there. So Sakura has asked, can we prepare students for digital ensemble examinations, such as string orchestra, choir, music band? Thank you for your question, Sakura.
Okay, now, that's a really excellent question. And I'm going to let Sakura into a little secret, which is that my job is to ensure that all exams are done to an optimum standard. Now, one of the problems that we have with digital exams is that, some people will be using a phone. Some people might be using some really very professional equipment, which is really very good at capturing not only the audio field, but the visual field. And of course, you have to understand, my examiners need to see things properly. They need to hear things properly. Otherwise, they can't give you a realistic assessment. It's expecting too much of them, you see? So we need to have quality on those productions that you make. In terms of the ensemble exams, one difficulty with an ensemble exam is clarity in terms of sound. If you're using some lesser equipment, it's sometimes more difficult to hear things, and examiners can't make up the assessment. We mark what we hear and see. So what I would say is that in terms of the ensemble exams, get in touch. Let us see what our best solution to your exams is, because actually, it might be that it's really good for us to send an examiner to hear those, where they can really embrace that whole package. Or it might be that we say to you, yes, let's do it as a digital exam, but please ensure that you do X, Y, and Z to ensure that it's a good, clear recording.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sakura. I hope that answers your question. You can write a follow-up one there if there's anything else you want to know. So Ashani has asked a question, which I think a lot of people have been asking in the last few days, Jonathan, and that's what will happen to entries that have already been entered and paid for in the previous platform. So should they re-enter, or what do they do?
Okay, Shani. So just to be really clear, and that's a really great question, anyone who has entered in some shape or form, so it might be, let's say, for example, you've paid but haven't uploaded your material, or maybe you've uploaded half of your examination, or maybe you've done the whole exam and you're waiting for your certificate. In all of those scenarios, if I could ask you please to fill in that form on our website, because that is how we become aware of what stage you're at. Once we know what stage you're at, we can get back to you and give you the best solution to get this issue resolved as quickly as possible. You know, I want this issue resolved as quickly as possible. I had some friends in Africa, Susan, at the weekend doing our theory exams for the very first time. And you can imagine how excited I am about that as a chief examiner. I want to be making sure that as little time as possible needs to be spent on resolving this issue so we can get on to this new platform as soon as possible, making our processes as efficient as possible for you as soon as possible, and so that I can get on to my 101 other tasks as well.
Yeah, we know how busy you are. So Patty has asked, what happens if my exam results I'm not sure actually, Patty, what you're asking here is, I think it's mainly about when she'll get her results. Maybe, Patty, if you wouldn't mind just clarifying in the comments below, is this results that of recordings that you'd uploaded to the previous platform? But I would say the safest thing though to do is, and the same really to Ashani, I was going to mention that booking form. If you go onto the LCME website, it's literally at the very front of it. You'll see the front header on the LCME website, and you can click on it, and it says, on the booking form, click on that and then just fill that in. Then one of the team is going to come back to you as quickly as possible and just make sure that you're getting your results, that if you already paid, that your exams will get uploaded onto the new platform so you can get results from those exams as quickly as possible, and that if you're waiting for a certificate, that those certificates will be issued as quickly as possible. I think that's the consensus
Precisely,
here.
Susan.
There's lots of
Absolutely.
energy and driving the team to want to get all of that resolved for all of you as quickly as possible.
And indeed, if I can just step in there and say that this is one of the reasons why we have this new platform, because I want to ramp up efficiency so that you get your result faster, you get your assessment made faster, you get the certificate faster.
Yeah. So Ruth has just followed up and said, please not to remove the digital library recorded exams. Living on the Isle of Man, they have been so helpful to us, as getting an examiner here was tricky in the past and could only be once a year. So just a little bit of...
Ruth, I'm so pleased to hear that. And Ruth, just remember that LCME is both an educational body, but of course also we are a business. And I'm going to make no decision that prevents anyone from doing an exam. So please be assured, this isn't the time for changing things like that.
Thank you very much, Ruth. I hope that has allayed any anxiety you might have there. Now, on to a slightly different question. I know we haven't got too many minutes left, about 6-7 minutes left on this. So if there is anything that we haven't covered so far that you really, really want an answer to now in this session, please do write it in the comments section. But also remember, if we don't get around to answering that, Jonathan has kindly agreed to do a lot more of these live sessions over the coming weeks and months. So please don't be afraid if we haven't answered the question. And if you put it in the comments section, somebody from the LCME team will come back to you about that. On a slightly different note, Jonathan, I see Pete here has asked, Pete Faruja, guitar teacher, has asked about these ukulele grades. So he is asking, can you tell us when the ukulele grades 6, 7, and 8 will be available? He's been waiting for these for a long time, I think. So he's giving a gentle nudge here.
Fantastic. And again, that's a really, really great question. We are, again, everything is about ramping up here. I'm well aware of the 6, 7, and 8. We are dealing with it presently. I mean, in the past, the ukulele has been a more popular instrument in terms of our suite of exams for the junior grades. And Pete, the other thing I would say is that, as you can imagine, we have so many syllabuses coming out at the moment. I could say, and this sounds like a sales pitch, but I would, just to reassure our loyal LCME customers, that our new piano syllabus, our new piano books are selling so well internationally. And thank you to everyone for buying those books, because it's a wonderful book. We can hardly keep up with the printing of that because it's been so popular. So that is fabulous news. We are on the cusp of releasing our new musical theatre syllabus, which is very different to the previous musical theatre syllabus. Very exciting syllabus, Susan. So we're on the edges of our chairs waiting for that one coming out early 2023. And just to say too, it was Pete, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To reassure Pete that as soon as I get these things off my desk, we'll be looking at ukulele 6, 7, and 8.
Thank you. You've heard it from the main man himself. So hopefully, Pete, that is giving you lots of reassurance here. A couple of just final questions as we are into our last 3-4 minutes. Jordan has asked about what's happening to his students who are awaiting certificates because it's been 4 weeks. Jordan, can you please fill in the form on the LCME website? That's going to be the most important thing. We're linking to it all over social media, and you'll see it as soon as you go onto the website, the main LCME website, just to fill in that form so one of the team can make sure that those certificates are getting out to you as quickly as possible. So we really appreciate that. Thank you, Jordan, if you wouldn't mind doing that. So a couple of other questions is, I'm just going to quickly answer because Jonathan has already told me this. Carla has asked about, is photographic ID required for the new platform? It is required, yes. So at the point when you are uploading the exam. So this is a regulatory requirement. This is not something that
it's not a gimmick.
is
it's
doing
regulatory.
Yeah, and there must be a unique authentication for each candidate so that LCME can make sure that the work assigned to an individual person is someone who's been verified, and that's the actual person taking the exam.
Absolutely. Because let's be honest, identity fraud is very prevalent nowadays, and it's, we have to be aware of it not only on digital exams but in terms of in-person exams too. So it's absolutely essential that we see that ID on that booking process.
Thank you, Jonathan. Briefly, and if there's not I'm not sure how much time we have to address this right now. Might need more full answer next week. But David has asked, it looks like anyone can now register directly for the exam to LCME. In that case, what's the main purpose of the official appointed LCM exam reps around the world? I mean, this might be something you want to discuss.
That's a really excellent question. And of course, this reflects changing times that we are in. I can assure all of our reps that I'm going to be reaching out to them because, let me tell you, reps, your role with LCME is going to be even greater as we move ahead. I've got some really, which I think are really good plans to help encourage this. Digital doesn't mean moving away from the rep. It means increasing their involvement. Because, of course, if you're an LCME rep, you're our way of representing us wherever you are. So I'm not going to be saying to you, forget about that or just concentrate on this. You're responsible for the whole suite of exams that we present to our students, our candidates rather.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to just rapidly try and get through these last 2-3 questions and before we go off here. Ruth, just quickly about an ID, what ID is needed for a recorded exam. It can be a passport, a national ID card, basically any verified driver's license. It can be anything that is an official identity card. Yeah. So just quickly, Shyama has asked, and this is a little while ago, I know, sorry, Shyama, it's taking a little longer to get around to your question. It was about speech exams. Can she get speech exams, about how to go forward with those?
Is Shyama talking in terms of digital exams, get in touch with us.
Yeah, maybe get in touch with the team at the could you remind everybody what
of course, it's lcm.exams@uwl.ac.uk, and you'll see that email, of course, on our webpage. I think it's bottom right-hand corner.
Fantastic. One last question. Sean has asked, will own choice pieces at higher grades still apply subject to approval from LCME?
Yeah, so the higher grades, so again, we're coming back to the syllabus. Of course, very, very quickly, the own choices were marched out during COVID to keep education going. My position as chief examiner is I also have to encourage our syllabuses. Otherwise, there's no point in me investing huge amounts of money, basically, in writing a syllabus. So again, get in touch, but first and foremost, read the syllabus, please, because that will that will tell you what the parameters of that particular exam are. We stopped the complete free choice exam because it's very difficult for an examiner marking an exam to ascertain whether your exam is actually authentic, because the rule wasn't just any piece. The rule was it had to be a piece or a set of pieces from a present board, a relevant syllabus of a present board. In other words, not 2015 or 2014. That puts a terrific onus on our examiners. And if the candidates and the bookers, if they want their exams marked quickly, this is slowing down the assessment process. If you're expecting my examiners to have to trawl through 10 other board syllabuses to make sure that your pieces are authentic. So we can't do everything. But what I would say is, please keep going back to the syllabus. And certainly in terms of diplomas, it is always pertained that you can offer your own choice as long as you make contact with us to get it verified.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan, and thank you, Sean. Thank you, all of you, for all these wonderful questions.
Thank you.
We're going to have to wrap up now. Before we do, I'd just quickly like to remind everybody about those key pieces of information that Jonathan has shared with you. One, the LCM email address. So I'll have him repeat it one more time before we finish, and we'll, of course, put it in the comments section. The booking form on the main LCME website for anybody who's made a booking on the previous platform and is waiting for a result, or they've paid and they're waiting to upload their recording, please fill in that form. And finishing on a very positive note, and obviously before thanking Jonathan very much again for giving up his time today to do this session, but your new platform went live yesterday, so all new bookings can be made now on the new platform.
Indeed, indeed. And again, that email address is lcm.exams@uwl.ac.uk. And if I can thank you, Susan, again for presenting this, I think, really useful program. The whole thing about LCME is that I will be wanting the organisation to be much more open with our customers so that they can get in touch. But please remember, we work in 95 plus countries. We will get back really as soon as possible. If there's a problem that really needs escalated, we will deal with it.
Okay. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you all so much for your questions, for your patience. Please keep getting in touch. We are answering everybody as quickly as we can here. And thank you again for joining this live session.
Thank you very much.